Oh, hi. You've caught me staring at the atmosphere, listening to the sounds of the magnetosphere. And welcome to the That's Censored, and that's a Sinkhole, the vulgarity-free section where I talk about anything I want. And thanks for tuning in, new viewers, old viewers, middle-aged viewers. Please don't forget to press like and subscribe. Let's get started talking about anything. And in this case, not really talking about space weather at all. Maybe a little bit. Bees are from space. Welcome to space. Are you familiar with Fungi Perfect? Fungi Perfecti? Makers of the host defense mushroom? Well, they're trying to save bees. It turns out you can feed mushrooms to bees, and it boosts their immune system. Thanks to Paul Stamets for going on the Joe Rogan show once again and talking about fungi.com/bees. Go to fungi.com/bees and read all about it. Get on the mailing list, perhaps, and be the first to find out when their mushroom feeders are going to be available. Now, let's also talk about microdose.me. Yes, that's right, microdose.me. No, I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm saying go check out the web page, as that would be a huge liability for me to tell you to do anything. And so check it out if you like. Microdose.me. Apparently the world's first mobile microdosing study. I won't say anything else besides that. Here's a clip from the JRE experience on which Paul Stamets appeared.
Well, it comes from China, and
Is that bad?
every Chinese expert that I've met said I wouldn't dare.
Well, you're going to have to watch the video yourself, because we are not getting demonetized for doing anything besides fair use. Yes, you can time it, folks. It was less than 8 seconds. Let's talk about Pow Wow Chow. Would you like Liz Warren's recipes? Now, we're going to help you out with this. You want to know all about Pow Wow Chow? Now, here's Liz Warren when she was a young kid on the reservation. And anyway, here are a few of the recipes. I'll actually put them on the screen. I'll leave them on for long enough for folks to be able to hit the pause button. I'll just scroll down real slow like, so our great viewers on YouTube and on other platforms can view Liz Warren's recipes for Pow Wow Chow. Now, these are traditional Native American recipes from what is claimed in the cookbook. You got cold omelets with crab meat. You got crab with tomato mayonnaise dressing. Here's another photo of Liz perhaps pursuing a burlesque career at age 6 on the reservation. And here's another recipe for herbed tomatoes. So there you have it. And let's continue on this route here. Now, we searched for Pow Wow Chow on Amazon, and the book's not available. So, you know, we're very in favor of getting this back in print here. Pow Wow Chow, a collection of recipes from families of the 5 civilized tribes: Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, and Seminole. Now, I don't know if it gives you any. Let's read some of the reviews. Let's see what's going on with the reviews. Scroll down past the product details. Here's one from J. Debs. Only 1 star. Many moons ago, my ancestor told me the tale. Excuse me. Told me the tale of a woman whose skin was like that of horse milk that descended upon our tribe. The woman said to us that she had spirit walked her way to our lands from the little-known Wannabe tribe. She said she had come to teach her ways of cooking using a red tortoise, or what she called crab, which can only be found near the lakes of salt. Anyway, I won't continue on, but we have left links to this important page on Amazon, where we searched for powwow chow, and indeed found it. Let's talk about how chow is becoming very difficult to find. I don't know if you were watching the channel 6 months ago, 8 months ago, when we were talking about all the late plantings and all the grain lost due to flooding, and how we've had a late spring 2 years in a row, and we've had early winters 3 years in a row now. Apparently the planet's so hot that it's cold. Anyway, there are unprecedented crop failures all across the U.S., and we've left links to this Principia Scientific article also. And expect food prices to rise, folks. I don't know if you're aware of all the issues going on around the world, but you've got things like Australia becoming a net importer of grain, Australia being one of the largest suppliers of grain to Asia. There's a pig shortage, a pork shortage all across Asia right now. And there's all kinds of problems with grain. So while we are seeing higher yields with some products, we're seeing entire fields not even getting planted. Again, early winters, early freezes. Disaster areas in Ohio, the Red River Valley, Illinois, Colorado, Kentucky, South Carolina, and on the list goes. Links to that article below the video also. Let's talk about the most earthly object in the solar system besides Earth, as it's the most, you could say, the most lively, at least in terms of having a hydrogen cycle. Now, it's obviously a little different hydrogen cycle than on Earth, as it consists of lakes of hydrocarbons and all kinds of funky features. It's Saturn's moon Titan. And I'm sure you'll hear about it being all over the news today, as there's been some old data gathered together and had this fantastic map created. Now you can see there is a plethora of dunes around the equatorial regions, and lakes tend to be concentrated mainly around the North Pole area. We also do see some odd labyrinth features, crater features, and hummocky. Anyway, we've left links to the Universe Today article also if you want to read about Titan's geology. And it's covered with organic molecules, folks. Molecules that contain carbon atoms. We've also taken the time to define the term
hummock,
which is a rounded knoll or hillock, or a ridge of ice. So hummocks can be ice. In this case, we're talking about hilly, mountainous, bumpy regions on Titan. Let's shift gears to earthly gears. Let's talk about one of Tony Heller's latest videos here. This one's called Climatologists versus Science. Since some of us understand the way atmospheric physics work, and other folks don't. For instance, are you aware that when it gets colder, it gets wetter? Let's play a quote from Tony.
Now let's compare that to the equivalent map for this year. This year has been extremely wet in the United States, and the wet weather has been associated with cool temperatures.
Now, were you aware that if you keep all things the same, you have the same barometric pressure and the same humidity and the same everything, and then you just lower the temperature? Guess what happens? Precipitation. Because if there's water in the atmosphere and you cool it off enough, the water is going to be unable to be in the atmosphere. It's going to end up on the ground in the form of things like rain, snow, sleet, fog. Those are all precipitation. That's when water vapor becomes water droplets. And all things the same, if we just simply lower the temperature, precipitation occurs. This is called dew point, when relative humidity reaches 100%. This is why when people ask me if it's humid and it's precipitating, I tell them the relative humidity is 100%. Here ends today's meteorology lesson. Please watch the Tony Heller video. It's good times. Oh, and before I forget, Tony, we got to get you on the show because I love your take on atmospheric physics. Here's another teaser clip for the viewers.
It should be pretty obvious by now that the claim warmer temperatures produces more precipitation is simply not true.
So the next time somebody informs you that hotter temperatures means more intense hurricanes, waves of cold fronts are what cause extreme weather, folks. Waves of cold fronts. These are what cause tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, etc. And let's go a little farther away from home to cosmology. Guess what? The calculations of the Hubble constant, which is the measurement of the rate at which the universe is expanding, allegedly don't seem to add up. Another nail in the coffin of the cold lambda dark matter theory of the universe. So this article shall be all over the kind of channels that you folks, the viewers, watch. So be prepared for this. Now, one of the reasons I didn't get an astronomy degree is because I didn't want to spend 10 years calculating the redshift to Cepheid variables. Yes, I saw the writing on the wall. That was back in the mid-90s, and I decided I wanted to go into pro sports and other more useful endeavors instead of calculating the redshift of Cepheid variables. This is all a bunch of math to figure out how it is that 95% of the mass and energy in the universe is unaccounted for, and why we have things like dark matter and dark energy. So hey, it's a good time to be alive, folks. Welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. As cosmology is being rewritten, it's a good time to get back into science. It'll never be now again. When we say it, we're not being facetious. It's true, folks. It's true. Links to this article also in the description below the video. Were you aware that over 140 new Nazca lines were found? Here's one of them. This one looks like, well, it looks like a dragon eating somebody and then pooping somebody else out. I don't know. Don't quote me on that one. These have been enhanced by computer programs. And check this one out down here. Looks like Galactus holding a police baton. Please leave a comment if you have a theory about this glyph or any of the other new geoglyphs that are found. There's the enhanced image of that one. Is it a triclops? Please leave a comment. About this one coming through from Science Alert. I had nothing to do with making those glyphs, folks. Nothing to do with it. Let's talk about the digital gulag known as social media and companies that are going to give you a whole bunch of free software. We'll talk about real software in a moment and some solutions. Are you aware that Google, Facebook, and Instagram repeatedly change the requirements for us to make these videos? In other words, things that I'm allowed to say today, I'm not allowed to say tomorrow, and I'm encouraged to say the next day. All we want to know is what the rules are so that we can follow them. And we have zero algorithmic visibility, which makes it nearly impossible for us to mess with the algorithms, as I have no interest in it at all. So if you have trouble finding our videos, there's reasons for it, and it has to do with being ungoogleable. And some of us do it on purpose, believe it or not. Links to that article, this one, another SciTech Daily, below the video as well, if you want to read all about it. And to make things worse, Google interferes with search algorithms. Google engages in electioneering, just like it did in the 2016 presidential election. Alphabet donated $34 million to Hillary Clinton. Deal with it. It's the truth. I've been complaining rather vocally ever since 2016, because while I stopped using the search engine in 2012, I stopped using the verb long before that, because man, oh man, get Google out of the dictionary, folks. Google doesn't even want Google in the dictionary, and yeah, Google's got a political agenda. Google misleads its shareholders. Do you have a 401k? I'll bet you've got Google stock in it. Do you want Google intentionally interfering with U.S. presidential elections? Do you find it extremely unsavory that Google would do so? Now, personally, I've got friends who are complete leftists. I don't want them silenced. Pretty sure the ones that are sane don't want me silenced either. So what do you think about being ungoogleable? please leave a comment. Please leave a comment if you too are ungoogleable. We'll prevent the internet from being broken and watch the internet break big tech instead. It's going to be prima. One of the ways to get actual free software is to go open source, to check out sourceforge.net, do a search for whatever it is you're looking for, and perhaps you'll be able to get some productivity increase with your computing instead of just simply being spied on and slowed down. Let's talk about Maxi J1409-619. Here's an image of it, by the way. It's an X-ray pulsar. And we're talking about some emissions that happened all the way back in 2010 when it was discovered. And it is on the Neil Gorell's X-ray Observatory, the Swift-Bat telescope that we look at regularly on this channel. And check it out. We actually see the largest on the entire graph just happening quite recently. Check it out right there. 0.12. Too high to even be on either of these charts. Anyway, there's some images of Maxi J14, whatever it's called. And you can see the October 12th versus the October 17th emissions. We'll leave links to both this article, which was published yesterday in phys.org, and this one from 2010 at Penn State in the description below the video. And thanks, smAsho team, for tuning in. Stay tuned for absolutely nothing because we are out of here. Remember, when you're staring at the real data, don't drink it. If you drink, stare at the data. Just don't drive. Seriously, don't drive. I could be on the road, and I don't want to see you there, so... Chow.